DreamWeaver and Jill.
Well, welcome to Dreamweaver and Chill, and thanks for chilling with me.
Well, thanks for having me, GW.
Well, it's awesome to have you on here. You're kind of an old school guy. Everybody, it's IRONMAN74.
Hello, everyone.
This guy, you may not know, is the founder of SCE. And tell me if I'm wrong. You were the admiral. You've handed it to somebody else because you've got other duties.
Yeah, I have. I've been the ambassador for quite some time of the LVE family, but we've grown so much now that we have so many diplomacy issues going on now. It's kind of a full-time job. So I had to hand the reins back over. I handed them over to Reels this time, and he's taking off and doing a great job. The first time I handed the reins off was to Huntress, and she's amazing. She does a good job as well.
She's cool.
Well, I've been admiral of LVE even.
And so you are the ambassador. Someone told me a couple of things about you so that I wouldn't be shocked about all the stuff that you handle. That's why I'm so smart. It seems like I'm smart.
Well,
I'm just informed, man. That's all.
what all have they told you? Has it been good or bad? I'm sure it's been a mixture of both.
It's been a good mixture, man. But somebody said this dude is super busy. And I'm going to list some of your responsibilities, I would say, that you've probably taken on voluntarily.
Yeah. I don't get paid for this.
I wish. So you're the ambassador of the whole family of LVE, SCE, EK, PIF, Blaze, and Sword. Is that correct?
Yep, that's correct. Some of the branches handle more of their own diplomacy than others. EK they handle some of theirs, and I handle some of it. Sword they handle some, I handle some. My job is basically to take the load off the shoulders of the 6 admirals. So if they're able to handle some things and run the day-to-day operations of the alliance, more power to them. If they are getting overwhelmed, my job is to step in and give them some relief.
Would you call that even kind of almost like a grand admiral?
No, I wouldn't necessarily go there. We're really all equals in the family. All admirals are equal. Commodores are all equal. Commodores have, for the most part, the same authority as admirals until it gets down to the brass tacks and the really important stuff. So we're all kind of equals within our slots. Some of us have different responsibilities. Me and Show kind of do a lot of things in the background, Shogun, but John Sable's the admiral of LVE. That's where my office is right now. My heart and home will always be SCE, but my office and my bunk room is in LVE, and we have John Sable, and he's a great guy. He's a brother, and he's admiral.
That's awesome. It's a big family.
Yeah, we're pretty good size. Couldn't give you an exact number of members to date. It fluctuates, but I would say we're probably over 350 members total.
Well, I have to tell you, all of those people have to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Just put that out there to your guys. Maybe making a rule if they want to stay in the family, they have to subscribe. Something like that. I don't know. All right.
I have a lot of guys in the LVE Alliance chat that are chomping at the bit to see this interview.
I bet. Well, let's get to you. That's your family. Let's get to you. And I've been wondering. I see that Iron Man face everywhere on Discord. I see the name. I figure 74 has something to do with your birth year, but I'm wondering, where does the Iron Man come in?
Iron Man came in from my wife. I was wounded in Anbar Province, Iraq. I spent 6.5 months at Walter Reed Army Hospital learning how to walk again after having screws and pins and titanium rods put in my femur. Went through 3 surgeries, and over that alone, of course, I had a few other injuries as well, but that was the worst of the injuries as far as recovering. And over the years serving in the Army Rangers, I've been wounded and had pins and screws and things put in other parts of my body. And my wife looked at me the day I was going home, and 2 weeks later, processing out as a major, she looks at me and says, "Let's go home, Iron Man." And it stuck. I started out in the game as Iron Eagle.
Which is a good movie, by the way. I don't know if
It was for its time.
good competitor for Top Gun.
I don't know that I would go that far. It was a little cheesy as far as the budget goes compared to Top Gun.
Oh man, but we had Louis Gossett Jr. in that.
He
Man.
made that movie. It was a great movie.
That's all they had. You're right. Top Gun is the number one, but it was a good alternative if you wanted something that wasn't Navy.
Yep, I can't wait for Top Gun Maverick to come out. It's been delayed for almost 2 years now due to COVID.
Ugh, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. Well, thank you for your service, sir.
You're welcome.
You make this possible for us to kind of jack around in normal life by putting your body and life at risk. So
You're welcome.
let me ask you this. When did you start playing Star Trek Fleet Command? And do you remember that first alliance that you were in?
I remember the first alliance I was in, although I was only there for 3 or 4 days. I don't remember the name of it. They don't even exist anymore, I'm almost certain. I got into it with a member at LVE on the first week, and we had a pissing contest going back and forth about whose alliance was better. And about the time he was getting ready to call the entire LVE alliance in on me, which we didn't have that many members in LVE at the time, and I was like, you know what? I'll give you guys a shot. And he's like, really? And from there, our friendship was born. Me and Yogi went from mortal enemies to almost the instant best friends.
That's awesome.
We had a guy named Ison that was the ambassador for LV at the time. He no longer plays either. He was a pretty good guy.
We've lost a lot of players over the years.
Yeah, we have a lot of good ones. Yogi hasn't been with us in at least 2 years.
Isn't that crazy? We've been playing this since 2018.
Yep, I downloaded the app. Well, what we could pre-download it a few days or a week before it opened, and I opened the app either on day 1 or day 2 and started playing.
That's awesome. I'm a little bit after that, I'm sure. I can only verify December 4th, but that's the first screenshot I took. I was so excited about it, showing everybody.
Yep. I started playing it, I believe, in first week in November when it opened up. I believe it was the first week in November.
Wow. Yeah, that's when it first came out. Well, let me ask you, what is your personal code of ethics in this game? Like, what do you fight for?
Well, I kind of still follow the code of ethics I did in the military, and that is fight for the little guys, fight for what's right. And I do my best to protect the members of the entire family, whether it be through phasers and photon torpedoes or whether it be diplomatic.
Well, that's good. That's a good reason.
Yep.
And in those pursuits, as you're defending your family, I'm sure some people have gotten upset about some stuff, maybe, and maybe sent you some hate mail. So,
oh yeah,
what's the best hate mail you've ever received in the game?
the one that made me sit back and laugh the most was I had a guy that said he was going to rape and kill my wife, and I'm sitting here thinking, buddy, you're probably biting off more with her than you are with me. He is followed kind of in my footsteps since we've gotten married. Taking martial arts. She's a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo, mixed with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I'm thinking, yeah, buddy, it's probably going to be the other way around. And then she's probably going to break your neck at the end. I couldn't help but laugh. It was serious, but these people don't know you. They don't know who they're dealing with. I was a major in the Army. My dad was a retired Navy Special Forces. He was a SEAL. These guys think I'm a nerd behind a computer screen. They have no clue. And then my wife, you make the comment, man, you have no idea.
Yeah. It's what is it called? Keyboard warriors, I think.
Yeah. In real life, I've seen grown men run from my wife. And not because she's ugly. She's a beautiful woman, but
she's dangerous.
You definitely don't want to mess with her. I've been hit by her about 3 or 4 times in my life, and before she realized that I don't believe in hitting women, and I'm here to tell you, she hits harder than a lot of men. In martial arts, I filled in a little bit of helping the sensei. Her and the little guy he's in his 20s now. He has his own dojo. He fought amateur. Those two, you can feel their punches and their kicks through the pads. The rest of the students in the dojo were nothing compared to those two.
What is row to you? And if you wanted to change something about row, what would it be?
If I were to change anything about row, it would be to get rid of the drama. You have too many little alliances out here that have all these different rules. You didn't give me a 5-minute warning when I was 0. Well, you didn't give me a 10-minute warning. I'm sorry, buddy. When I put my miner on a node, it tells me how long it's going to take before it's chewed up and zeroed. If you can't look at it and tell when your node's going to be zeroed and look at the clock and be adult enough to tell time, there's a problem. Most alliances, ROE is, if you're 0, you're hit. We don't have to warn you. If you're OPC, we don't have to warn you. That's a courtesy if you get a warning. And sometimes I warn people, sometimes I don't. At LVE, we respect ROE, we follow it, but we've never officially adopted it into any of our rules. We have very few rules at LVE.
If you're OPC, you're going to get hit, right? I mean, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's not part of Scopely's end game here anyway. That's a rule that we have enacted as players. It was never intended to have ROE to begin with. So ROE, I resisted it in the beginning, but it's a good thing. And be adult, be an adult. Most of us are adults here playing, and the ones that aren't, they're old enough teenagers. They should be able to tell time and be responsible for their own chips.
And that's true. Scopely has nothing to do with it. I mean, the only thing Scopely tells us we can't do is hit a shielded base. And there's certain levels that we can hit down or up to, that's it.
Yeah, sometimes those levels get a little ridiculous, but as long as I'm the bigger guy and able to hit down, I don't complain too much about it. But when I'm the littler guy getting hit down on, it's like, oh man, that's not fair. But you don't hear me whining and crying about it.
No, and territory space is kind of cool that way because you get to test and see if a level 50 or a 59 can hit you. Your level 25, what does it look like? But in normal space, that wouldn't happen.
Right. Well, especially during a territory takeover, you can hit any level that's in territory. I think when it's not an actual takeover, I think there are some level limits. I'm not 100% sure on that. Haven't tested it recently. Not even sure what level I can hit down to now. I just made level 45 last night, so I'm sure.
Well, congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
It's a big accomplishment. People outside the game wouldn't understand what it takes to get to both in grinding and, of course, spending to get you there. Unless you just want to take 4 years to do it.
Well, that's true. I've been accused of being a credit card warrior many times, and I'm not a credit card warrior. I'm a debit card warrior. Every time I make a purchase, it's paid for. I don't owe Visa or MasterCard anything.
That used to be such a big deal. People would say, "Oh yeah, you're just paying to play." Well, yeah, yeah, I am.
This game is a two-way street. It's either pay to play or free to play. If you're free to play, you're going to be the smaller guy, but that's your choice.
I know of one guy who's free to play. He says I'm free to play. I don't remember his name, but I think he's an EMC, and he is adamant. I'm not spending any money, but he's gotten to the 30s. And if he can do it, anybody can do it in his time.
We have a couple guys in the 30s now in LVE that have never spent a dime. They've never even bought the $19 monthly battle pass rewards pack.
I like
Of
that.
course, your admiral, when he was here the first time, he was pretty adamant that he didn't spend a dime. I think he's spending a little bit this time.
I think he understands the where to put his money this time, and what's the best way to spend it to move because he's in 30s now, and in just a short amount of time. I like him.
Yep, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. We banter back and forth in Galaxy Chat whenever we do, on the rare occasion, talk to each other in Galaxy Chat. I like to avoid Galaxy Chat. It's more or less trolls there, but people think that me and Sarge are mortal enemies, and it's just our military banner going back and forth. We've actually been friends for several years. I can't say we're best friends because we don't talk as much as we used to, but we are friends, and we banter back and forth. And people would think we want to kill each other if they didn't know our background, and most of them in Galaxy Chat don't.
Yeah, you don't know anything about anybody really, you know.
Right. I remember when he was in GOT.
He was the admiral for a while. Yeah, he was. He led the charge for a while.
Yeah. Winter is coming.
Well, I know I talked about those levels that you can hit in territory space. Are you guys in territory space? What do you think about that whole place out there?
Every branch of our family is in territory space. LVE has 5 territories. EK has, on any given day, between 3 to 5. I think they pretty well stick to about 3. They will hold a territory now and then for another alliance member. Or let's see, Sword has 2 territories currently. SE currently holds, I believe, 2. Blaze holds 2, and Piff holds 2 or 3. I would have to look. Those guys are kind of quiet at Piff. We don't hear a lot from them, other than a little joking around here and there, and we hear that. But we don't hear a lot from them hollering for help or need you to work on this. Those guys they're pretty good guys. They stick to themselves and they don't bother many people.
Yeah, that's Piff. I mean, I think from day one they're always kind of the good guys, and that's my favorite alliance. Other than my alliance, would be Piff,
Yep.
and I'm not afraid to say it. I never hit a Piff.
Oh, I have.
Probably never will. Hopefully, um, I haven't. That's the one alliance that's been around forever that I haven't hit. You can change tags now, and I'll hit you.
The first time I hit a PIF was just before the family took over BNF, and we took over BNF, and we held that system for almost a year. Everyone wanted to come to BNF for PD. They knew if they come to BNF, they were getting PD. But we went down a couple of systems, and Lycabos was the admiral then. And I had a guy just merged an alliance in. They'd been there maybe 2 months, and Gunny, he was the admiral, and he become a commodore when they merged in, and he went down there and he was hitting some PIF bases, and they started swarming out, and he called for help, and we went down, and then we ended up calling the LVE in. That was the first time I ever even knew PIF existed, and then the first time I met Kid, I took a node away from her. I ended up giving it back to her, but took a node from her. That was back in the wild west days before ROE really took hold. But BNF, man, those were the fun days. My background and Papa's background, he was Admiral of Eris now. They don't exist. He's one of our members now, visiting Fear. We set up a kill box as you come into BNF. There was only one way in, and we more or less set up a kill zone where it's overlapping fire as they were coming in.
It was quite a feat to hold that, man. Everybody knew about Benif. It was like, man, this place, go. If you want trouble, go there.
I think we are the only family that has ever done that. It was LV, SE, and Eris primarily. We had two other small alliances that were in there helping us hold it, but we held every slot on every planet. There were guys offering 101 and two $100 packs to anyone that would move out so they could move their base in.
Wow. Wow, that's desperate.
People wanted in there pretty bad. We had a lot of resources that we were hoarding in there, and they wanted it, and they wanted the PD too.
Nobody likes long distance raiding.
There's nothing worse than long distance raiding. That's what territory is made better, and it is made worse for those of us that have a lot of resources. It's a lot easier to protect them in territory.
Now, I think territory space and uh, the reality of the coalition and stuff, I think that's misunderstood.
Glad you brought that up.
Can you explain that, or can you help clear that up to where what is the purpose of the coalition? How can it help people, and maybe what is a downside to it?
I personally think of the coalition as more like Robin Hood. A lot of guys look at it and they see EMC there, and EMC are great guys. They're the power horse. They are the muscle behind us. But they call it EMC's coalition. EMC didn't even join the coalition for the first year, and then they joined it. EMC is a member, just like all the LVE families are. The TTWS families, there's 5 or 6 of them. There's 4 or 5 of them in the coalition. Fear, EK, of course, they're a family member. Cold, Revo. A lot of the smaller alliances, like say Sword and Grow and PPA and Revo, they wouldn't be able to be in coalition if it was up to the guys that are on the outside, the big guys like Ink and Fury and Proton. Um, they think the server is top heavy with heavy guys and think little guys ought to grow to keep it healthy, but then they look at territory and they think, well, only big guys belong there. Well, how do you expect the little guys to grow and get bigger and make the server healthier if they're not allowed to be there? And if you're in there taking it up and there's no coalition there to try to make it fair where little guys can get in, what do you have? The coalition is made up of many members. We all have an equal say. No one tells anyone what they can or can't take. The little guys tell you, hey, I want to take Anode, or I want to take Bryjak, or whatever. LVE currently holds Bryjak, and the coalition's like, okay, it's unknown. Let's go for it. We back you, and we go in and we help the little guys take it. And once they have it, we do our best to help them to hold it. The coalition basically fights for the little guys.
That's good. Now, if there was something that you could do better or more with the coalition, what would you suggest?
There's a lot of misunderstanding about the coalition. Like I said, the guys that we view as the actual bullies view one of our biggest members of the coalition as bullies, and those guys are not. EMC, they're great guys. We've all had days where we bullied someone, so I can't say EMC never has, but they're not bullies like people think they are. They're the power horse behind the coalition. Without EMC, the coalition wouldn't be as far as we are. But and again, without the rest of the coalition members, we wouldn't be as far as we are either. But people view the coalition and EMC as bullies. We're not. We're fighting for little guys. I would try to change the image there, but once people's minds are made up, it's hard to change it.
Now, let me ask you this: if somebody, say a alliance out there with 25 people, maybe 30 people, enough to hold a territory, can they approach you guys and say, "Hey, we want to join the coalition. We want to we want some territory. We want to benefit from this. How do they do that?
They petition any member of the coalition, and we'll bring it up with Solar. Solar owns the server that the coalition exists on, and it's brought to a vote, and they're voted either in or out. So far, I can't remember anyone being denied access that has applied.
So there's nothing stopping anybody. It's just everybody has a chance to apply and reap the rewards.
Everyone has a chance to apply. Even Inc., our biggest opponent against the coalition, if they were to drop some of their bullying ways and apply, they have a chance to join too. That they just don't view it that way. They think we're bullies, and they think we shouldn't exist. Well, hey, look at all the little guys there getting research and growing stronger to make the server healthier, that would be quitting otherwise, because all the big guys would be there and just getting bigger, and small guys would be small and suffering, and they'd be quitting faster than they are now.
I'm not in territory. I've been in territory before. We'll see what the future holds. It's good to know that if everybody wanted to join together and work together as a server, sounds like we could. Sounds like there's an option. There's a direct line to peace and growth.
The only limit to us working together is your attitude and whether you apply or don't apply. We don't seek you out. You apply, and if you apply, it's brought to a vote. And like I said, I can't recall anyone being denied access to this day.
You heard it, folks, right there. The ambassador has spoken. Okay, going on though. What's your favorite alliance besides your own? I know you're in LVE right now, and why?
Well, SCE is always going to hold a special place in my heart. That's my home. I built it. That's my baby. And those guys are great over there. But outside of the family, uh, I have a lot of alliances I like. EMC is always going to be a favorite. Um, an alliance that a year and a half ago I absolutely despised. I actually have gotten to know their leader. I've put in countless hours of diplomacy with him, avoiding war. I've actually gotten to where I have gotten to know the boys over at Hunt on a different level than the rest of the server, and they're really not as bad a guys as they come across. They're very, very misunderstood. A lot of guys believe those guys don't ROE. They actually do, unless you're crosshaired. They've got one or two guys over there that are a little wilder than others. It kind of tends to hit more out of ROE than he probably should. But uh, one thing is misunderstood. Those guys really and truly, at their core, they actually do ROE. Just people misunderstand that, and they're into it with most of the server because of that, and therefore you got crosshairs and you're getting hit left and right by them.
Everybody hits out of ROE at one point, right? I mean, that's why it's there.
Oh yeah, some mistakes happen, and sometimes people just do it to be jerks. So, but mistakes happen. You know, be responsible. If you made a mistake, apologize and move forward. Hopefully the opposer you hit will accept your apology and you can move on.
What I like about Hunt is they do what they want, and that in the past, they've been about freedom, and it's good to see. It's refreshing.
Yeah, I think they're looking at possibly going a different direction this year from talking to AK, and if it goes in the direction that he's talked to me about being interested in, I think the whole server will see some positive things out of them. Of course, nothing's set in stone. There have been no solid decisions made, but me and him have talked quite a bit, and he's actually looking at going a little different direction with Hunt.
Oh, that's cool. That's exciting.
I hope things transpire. I hope they work out for him.
Well, those are your favorites. What is your least favorite alliance and why?
Right now, I would have to say it would be um, Inc. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate those guys. There's several guys over there that are members that I'm actually friends with, but they're downright bullies. They formed claiming that EMC was bullies, and they didn't want to be bullies, and they have become worse than what they were trying to avoid. And the bad thing about it is they don't even see it.
Now, they used to be EMC guys for the most part, I think, and then they broke off and formed Inc.
Yep, yep.
Correct?
Let me rephrase that. It's not that I hate Inc. as far as the guys. There are a lot of people over I like. There's one or two I despise, and he knows who I'm talking about, I guarantee you. But even Damien's not that bad of a guy on a personal level. I just don't like the direction that they're going. The direction they're going, they try to push people around, and then they accuse others of doing it, and they don't even see what they're doing.
Maybe we'll have a Rocky Four moment here when, at the end of the fight, they realize if I can change and you can change, we can all change.
Well, possible, but I don't see that coming. They make anything happen in Hollywood.
Maybe I should rephrase it. If Hunt can change, we can all change.
Well, now let's not get ahead of yourself. I didn't say Hunt has changed. I just said they're looking at a different direction, and if things happen the way that he's looking at, um, I think they will change for the better, and I think the server will see it. But I'm not saying they have changed. They're very misunderstood though.
I think AK might be on Rocky 3 right now. And once once we get to Rocky 4, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, AK's a good guy once you get to know him. In Galaxy Chat, seeing the stuff you hate the guy when you're into it with him, and you're in Galaxy Chat, and he's uh, popping off propaganda. I mean, a year and a half ago, I hated those guys. I don't hate them anymore.
There's no better troll than AK. Maybe Vulcan. Vulcan can get under your skin like nobody's business, but AK's really good when he's on in his game.
Vulcan's another one that was misunderstood. Me and him had some major problems for probably the first two years of the game, and voice has brought me and him a long ways. Starting to get on voice, and Vulcan's actually a great guy. Once you get to know him, he's another one that's very misunderstood. He comes across very brash, and uh, Vulcan's a great guy once you get to know him on a personal level, especially if you get on voice with him. You can hear context that you can't hear in Galaxy Chat.
Well, he comes from a good home. I mean, he was in GOT, so you got to give him that.
A lot of people misunderstand me when I'm being diplomatic with them. They think I'm an asshole. As ambassador, I'm not fighting for what I personally want. I'm fighting for what my team wants. And a lot of teams take it as my personal agenda. It's not. As ambassador, I'm neutral. I fight for what my team and my family wants and needs. And because of that, I'm pretty well hated until people really get to know me.
And I bet inside your alliance, you're loved.
Well, by many of them, I have some that talk behind my back, but that's anyone.
That's everywhere.
Right, right. I take it with a grain of salt and don't let it bother me.
Well, knowing that and being around for a long, long time, why do you continue playing the game?
Well, there are a couple reasons why I continue playing the game. Number one, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars invested in this game. I don't have a few $100. I've got thousands. And I think GNN said it best. If Scopely were to offer every dime that you spent on this game back, 9 out of 10 of us would close our account, give it back to Scopely, and walk away. I don't know if I could truly do that because I've cultivated a lot of great relationships and friendships here in this game. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I totally get it. I've brought some people back from retirement, and I've tried to leave, but I always come back.
Speaking of bringing people back from retirement, LVE has Hello Kitty and Mega Octopus in LVE now. Those are some big names from back in the IMDY days.
He's old school. Yeah, Hello Kitty's been around for a long time.
Yes, he has. He took about 2 years off, but he's back and he's playing strong and he's building his account back up and he's pretty strong again.
Well, do this for me. Ask him what, if you don't know, ask him what that game was that he was playing while he was gone. It's funny.
I can't remember the name of the game, but we actually have had that discussion. What is the name of the game? Refresh my memory.
I don't know the name of the game, but I know the basic concept, and that's why he stayed away so long.
Yeah. I know one player he would like to bring back and bring him to the family, and I'd like to see him too. I don't see it ever happening, and that's Hydro. One of the guys I would personally like to bring back that I was close friends with was Daft Punk. Me, Daft, and Mega Octopus were friends while they were in IMDY. I was a little guy back then. If I got into trouble, I would private message one of those two guys, and usually, unless it was against MD, they would come running. Now it's my turn to do it for Mega. He's still in his 30s, and I'm 45 now, so now it's my turn to help look over his shoulder.
Tell me something you think is true that almost nobody agrees with you, and people say you're crazy for believing that.
That's a hard one. Something that I believe in that no one else does, in game or in real life.
Either one, in game preferable. But man, if you think that Putin invented Bitcoin, let me know.
Well, out of game, I think we're a lot closer to World War III than most of the guys do, but that comes from my time in the military and being a military brat. We have China off the coast of Taiwan, 2 carriers, and we have a carrier on the other side of the island, and then you have Russia looking at invading Crimea. People think I'm crazy, but we're not. We're only a few missteps away from that. In game, something. Show sometimes thinks I'm crazy. MTS Shogun, by the way, the founder of LVE. And he's kind of like Ska. He's no longer admiral of LVE, but he's kind of like the fleet admiral. And I've got a little bit of a role along those lines by his side with the diplomacy. But Show is the type that he believes in going to triggers first and diplomacy last. And if I'm in the middle of negotiating something, he's told me many times, man, you're crazy. You'll never get that. And then with the times that I get it, he's like, man, I never saw that coming. I never thought that was possible. But it's like, geez, man, would you just sit back and chill while I finish this? Point and case Hunt. We've had peace with him for the last year. There's been some tense moments, and I've really almost had to put Show in a straitjacket a few times, but we've been able to keep the peace, and it's cultivated a pretty good relationship with their leader.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
They're a tough bunch. They're small, but man, they can really irritate the shit out of the biggest alliance. They're hard to find because there's few of them, and they don't care if you hit them. And in fact, they like being hit. That gives them attention.
I know that. Many times it's like, here's my base. Hunt will post their own coordinates. Hit my base. I'm empty.
They will. They're a fun group when you get to know them and understand them. A lot of people don't understand them. They don't understand how they operate. They're very simple. They're very good at the guerrilla warfare game. And with me being an ex-Army Ranger, believe me, I recognize guerrilla warfare. I was trained in it.
Well, let me ask you about this new Raider, this ship that they put together with little pieces. Do you have that ship?
Oh God, yeah, I spent a small fortune on that ship the first day it was out.
What do you
Um,
think about it? Tell everybody, should they get it? Should they not get it?
they should get it. Whether you want to spend money on it or not is your decision. But the ship, it's got a minimal cargo capacity. Like mine, I got mine to tier 7 like in the first 2 days, 3 days of having it. Um, at tier 7, I know I have seen one guy. It's dependent on, of course, the one officer. I don't remember her name. She increases it by like 10 or 20%. How much you get, but it's dependent on the resources in the base that you're raiding. Like, say, from what I've noticed, if I hit a base that has, say, 13 billion or 15 billion par, um, it tends to go over the amount of resources. Like, say, total they have 16 billion in resources between par, tri, and the lithium. It tends, from what I've noticed, to go over 200 million, or not 200 million, 2 million over how many billions in resources you have. So my biggest scoop so far has been 19.9 million in one load, one scoop. And as you rate a base, the amount your ship gets goes down because the amount of resources are going down. But the cargo hold on mine at tier 7 is only a little over 6 million, but it is designed to go well over that, especially with the one officer. And it's dependent on the size of the base you're hitting. And by size of base, I mean the amount of resources. I do know I've seen a screenshot of one of the guys on day one that had tier 7. He had a base big enough at tier 7, which mine is tier 7. He had almost 50 million in one scoop, one hit.
Wow. And I am dragging out 1.5 million with one of my baby faction miners.
Yeah. Mine maxed out Antares. I don't have the faction one yet. I've refused to buy the Hydro so far. I max out with the right officers at 6.9 million with it.
Wow.
But the Anagram is a great chip. I recommend it to anyone. If you want to spend money on it, you'll definitely get a lot further, a lot faster. If you try to grind it out, it'll take you weeks to get to tier 2 and 3.
Oh, really?
And as you go up, it's like any other ship. It takes longer and longer to grind out each tier.
I bet it's a ton of crystal too.
I would have to look at it to tell you for sure. I believe crystal is one of the big ones on it. It's either crystal or ore. I bought the packs the first day. I basically, within the first 2 days, I had about $850 in that ship, counting buying it
Oh,
and the
oh
packs,
my God.
and that
Oh
got
my
me to
God.
tier 7.
But now look at you. You know, look what you can do with it.
Yep. I don't raid very much, but I got the ship. I was like, well, if it does as good as they're saying, I'll probably do a lot more raiding. But I haven't gotten back into that yet. At one time, I was like number I want to say 20 something or 40 something in the resources rated. Now I'm like number 250 something or 350 something in resources rated. When I hit 45 yesterday, when I hit 45 yesterday, I got down to in power number 108 on the server.
Yikes. That's good. You're almost that. So what does it feel like being so close to getting on that 100 chart? I mean, I've never been close in anything. But what does
I'm
it feel like you're
striving for it.
Yeah, you're right there, man.
Power destroyed. I'm as of 2 days ago, I'm number 22 or 23. But power destroyed is one of the most useless stats that Scopely could ever came out with. If you're going to have that, I think it should be when you win, your power destroyed goes up. If you lose, it goes down. And it's not that way.
It goes up and up and up.
Yes, it does.
And it doesn't count. It doesn't say, hey, man, this guy kills miners only. This guy kills warships.
There are a lot of guys at the top of the chart that primarily their power destroyed is from hitting miners. Miner from primarily warship to warship. The only time I hit miners is if I need a node and they're zero, or if we're at war with them. Territory is what has brought me to the top of the chart in power destroyed.
Man,
And
you
that's warship to warship.
And you can build it fast in a 45-minute time. You can build a lot of PD.
You can move up 5, 6 to 10 slots in a 45-minute territory defense at times. As you get closer to the top, that slows down. But I have in one territory defense one time moved up 10 spots.
Wow.
So, but like I said, I view that as one of the most useless stats that Scopely has.
Yeah, we like resources rated. SOS is number 9, and we're such a little baby alliance in size. If we had 15 more people with a like mind, it would be dangerous.
I remember when I was in the top 50, I was above atmosphere. And speaking of atmosphere, the former admiral of IMDY, I have a screen video of show rating that poor fellow's base.
Well, make sure you get it to me, and I will definitely put that out there because I am not a fan of IMDY, as I think everybody who's ever talked to me knows.
Even the guys in EMC that formed EMC that came from IMDY are not fans of IMDY.
Yeah, it was and I've said that about EMC. People rag on EMC. I rag on EMC. I'm allowed to, I mean, I'm allowed to have an opinion about these guys. But one thing they are not, they're not IMDY. And
No, they're not. They're great guys. I love EMC to death. They're great guys. They make mistakes like all of us do, but at the end of the day, those guys are a great group of guys. When they're raiding your base, sure they're the bad guys, but
isn't everybody?
yeah. I mean, LVE, we're the worst people on the face of the earth when we're raiding your base, but EMC, those guys are a good crew. They put a lot of thought in their alliance and their family, and they are one of the others that have a successful family, having 2 branches, having multiples. No one seems to have ever pulled off what LVE has and hold it together long term. EMC, they stay with 2 alliances and they make it work. Those guys are good. They put a lot of thought into their game.
Yeah, I've heard that the research, not the research in the game, but the research of the game is
second to none.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone on any server that Scopely has that researches the game any better than those guys. They're just a great group of guys all the way around.
And I like Ska. Ska's a good guy. I got to know him. I did an interview with him about a year ago.
I watched that.
Yeah, bro versus bro. What did you think about that?
That was a good interview. I got a lot of laughs out of it, and it was very good.
I think it humanizes. Yeah, it humanizes somebody. Like, hey, this is Ska. Oh my gosh, he's got these huge ships, but he's just a bro.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, and he's pretty fair. I don't think he really rages anymore.
I don't know if it would even do him any good. I mean, how fun is that?
Don't. It wouldn't. At his level, you pretty much have to buy packs.
You crack a base and you take their entire cargo in one hit. That's an exaggeration, but
and it doesn't even do a scratch on your build costs and your repair costs.
Yeah, the repair is under 5 minutes. Who knows?
Rating for Scott, I believe, is next to useless, which is why I don't believe he raids anymore. At that level, you could raid for a year just to do one upgrade, probably.
Your wealth of knowledge on the server.
Well, I've been around since the beginning. I remember the Wild Wild West when it first started. Our family, when it was just LVE, we would do system clearings in the first couple months of the game, and of course, those were the days where you had naps, non-aggression packs, and we had to be careful not to hit the ones we had those with. And we would start out at midnight as a contest every night between me, Show, and John Sable, and a couple of the other guys that have been around since the beginning. And midnight seemed to be the system we started in every night. And we would go through system to system until you were dead or your cargo was full, and compare notes on who got the most kills and who got the most cargo before you died or before you were full.
The good old days.
No, those were the good old days. I missed the 5-minute shields. I hate
Oh
the
man,
10-minute shields on bases. Which
I was.
reminds me, when raiding first it came to be on the first day it was even available for you to be able to hit a base. Show coined the phrase, which Rev Deuce has made famous, and Shogun has made the comment, I wished I would have copyrighted that and made t-shirts before he did, but Show coined the phrase on the first day, shield or share. And that's been our motto ever since.
That's my motto. That's my alliance.
Yeah, it is. It
And
is.
I'll make sure that Rev Deuce knows that he did not come up with that.
He definitely didn't. Not going to say he did. Well, not going to say he didn't think it up, but he was not the first, I can assure him.
Well, it came from server 17, the best server, in my opinion, out of all of them.
We're the strongest server. No one wants to merge with server 17 that knows us.
I believe it.
I believe Scopely knows it too. That's why they haven't tried a surfer merger with us. They know we're animals over here.
Well, that'd be great, man. More food? That'd be great. More unshielded bases, more OPC. Bring them.
Yeah, it could be good. Food supply is starting to dwindle. We've had so many people quit, and there's no new life really coming in. And the new life that does come in, you have to wonder if they're an alt.
Oh, all those little level 4s that are asking how to move your base.
Yeah, I see a lot of level like 12s and 17s and 19s, and they'll apply, hey, can I join? And it's like, that guy's got to be an alt. But even if he's not, we have no members at their level to help them. So if they're not
Yeah.
an alt, they're going to struggle and they're going to end up quitting. They got to find an alliance that's closer to their size and can help each other out. Of course, there aren't very
Now,
many of those because there's no new blood.
now do the server a favor, and if you came across somebody like that, who should we recommend them to? What's a good alliance that's got members like that?
I really don't know. I'd have to look through the lists and do some searching. I honestly couldn't tell you. Um, with my job with the family, I stay busy just with what I have to contend with to keep us at peace as it is.
Well, I'll recommend No and even Piff. I bet they would help. And if anybody really wants to have a great time, join SOS Shield or Share, where we have people from all levels.
You guys are pretty versatile. You got a great guy as an admiral. Don't tell him I said that, although
The
he
world
knows it.
the
But
world will know as soon as this hits.
yeah, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will.
The problem is if I let Sarge know that, he's not going to be able to walk through any doors with that big head.
Well, we have to watch that with John Sable, my brother. He's a great guy, but we tease him and show about getting a swelled head. And by the way, John Sable, he was the reason uh, he got so down on resources one day fighting that he couldn't repair his ships. And I was the admiral of SE, so I was the only one in the family, or SE was the only one in the family that we could hit family to family. We've always pretty much lived on the philosophy of family never hits family, but I made show. I pulled all my ships and I made show crack my base so that guy could get enough resources to repair his ships. That was the first and the last time that we have ever allowed family to family hits for any reason. And shows like we're never doing that again. I'm like, bullshit. If one of our guys gets down that low again, you will crack my base. And he's like, no, I will not. I'm like, yeah, you will, because I'm going to give him resources.
Yeah. Share.
So, but we believe on a philosophy: family never hits family. Accidents happen, but we never hit family intentionally. But I would give John Sable resources again today if he needed them. John's a great guy. I love him to death. I call him a brother, and he is a brother. We've had our good days, we've had our bad days, but that's a great guy.
I see the server as a big family, really. I mean, we keep showing up here, and and we get to know each other more and more as time goes by. And that's what I'm trying to help here is just get a voice to a tag or to a screen name and
If
just
anyone out there wants to find a great family that actually treats you like family, they don't just say it. We treat each other like we are brothers and sisters. We're all pretty much equals. Try the LVE family out. We have 6 branches. I'm sure we have a branch that would suit you, whether you're a level 50 or a level 20, 22, 20 to 25. If you're looking for a, a family, we're it. Many have tried to copy us, and they always miss the core of what keeps us together, and they always fail.
well, it's that time again. Let me ask you this, and this has nothing to do with the game. This is just you in general. If you died today, how would you like to be remembered?
I would like to be remembered for how I am. I'm an honorable, respectful guy. Honesty is my core value. I'll be honest with you, even when it gets me in trouble. Um, for example, real life, if I mess up on my job, uh, most guys will try to cover their butt. I'm the type guy that'll say, "Hey, look, I did this. This is the result of it. It was my fault, and here's where I made my bad decision." I'd like to be remembered as a good father, by my kids and my wife, and a good husband, which I believe I am. My kids love me to death. My daughter's married to a soldier stationed up at Fort Riley right now. He just had her second child, second grandkid for us. Um, she's old enough. She looks back and she's like, "Dad, I didn't realize when I was growing up, I thought she was being hard, but." She's like, you were right, and I appreciate you raising me that way.
Well, IronMan74, thanks for chilling with me.
You're welcome. It was nice doing it.